Jesus tells us very clearly, I am the vine, and you are the branches. And if you abide in me, through prayer, through service, through fellowship, through worship, if you abide in me, isn't that just a wonderful phrase? And when I first think of it, I think of to rest in his arms almost, but it also means to be plugged in, to be connected. Right? Your little puppies, Donna, they couldn't live if they weren't connected to the mama, could they? No. You have to make sure each one gets plugged in. Why in the world did I come up with this image? But if they're not plugged in, what happens to them? They die. Let me go to another image. If your TV won't turn on, what's the first thing you look to see if it's plugged in or not? Or sometimes your plug's a little loose in the inverter. I had a turn signal that wouldn't work this past week, and then we found out it wasn't just my turn signal, it was my brake light. So I went to the shop, and they looked at it and said, well, the lights are okay, but look, the wires got twisted, and they didn't have a good connection. And so it went on and off. You never knew if it was going to work or not. They untangled it, straightened it out, good connection, and everything works like it's supposed to. That's a better example. But I still like the puppy. The purpose to being connected to God, the purpose to abide in the vine, the life-giving vine, is to bear fruit. It's the whole purpose of being a Christian. It's not just to go through the motions, it's to bear fruit. One of the symbols for Israel is men carrying grape clusters on sticks. They're walking and they carry grape clusters. And, you know, Moses said, you're going to the land flowing with milk and honey. And yet, the symbol of Israel is grapes. It's to bear fruit. And the fruit we're to bear is faith, hope, and love. Paul says the greatest of these is love. John in his gospel says, right after these words about abiding in the vine, abiding in Christ, and he will abide in us, and he'll empower us and give us the ability to bear fruit. He says, and if you do this, this is the commandment I give you, love one another. No, there's no greater love than this, that a man lays down his life for his friends. Abiding in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. The fruit of the Spirit brings joy, patience, faith, hope, but especially love. And it's love that we especially need in this world today. It's the love that's the foundation of everything else. And not just romantic love, although that's great. And not just friendship love, and that's great. But God's love. God's sacrificing love. That he has shown to us on the cross, and that we show to one another by giving and by doing when we don't have to. When sometimes it is a sacrifice for us. When sometimes we have to do for our parents what we never thought we'd ever have to do for them. When we have to do for our children things we never thought we'd have to do. Boy, if you've got a young baby, you're learning things about being a parent. Staying up all night, doing things all night, watching over those little ones, worrying about them. Before you had children, you never knew why anybody was fussed like that. But you get your own, and you know, don't you? That's love. When we get older and our parents get older, sometimes we have to care for them like they once cared for us. And that's love. That's a deep love. That's God's love, abiding love that's shown and born in all of our lives. So we need to abide in Christ, to abide in him, to feed on him, to give thanks for all that he does for us.